I'm on point. Hello, everybody. My name is Master Chen.
This is Doxy.
And I'm Richard Satchel.
And I'm Sin.
And you are either watching or listening to Greynoise. All right, everybody. Welcome to episode 169 of Greynoise, the podcast where we're going to turn it on its head today, but we'll get to that. We are here, like every Friday night, at the Sin Shop, SYNSHOP. Yeah, the address is 1075 American Pacific Drive, Suite C in Henderson, Nevada. We are here every Friday night, so if you're not here, maybe we'll see you next week, or the week after that, or the week after that. Anyway, go to sinshop.org for more information on the Sin Shop, and for more information on us, go to Greynoise, GREYNOI.se. Also, if you are not yet on the Discord, we have a Discord, so go to Greynoise/Discord. We'll keep it simple, Greynoise/Discord. Okay, and really quick, I don't know of any classes that are coming up, but there's a lockpick class, not this coming Monday, but the next one.
Robot kit class.
Huh?
Robot kit class.
Robot kit class, yes.
Build your own robot.
Yes, build your own robots. We have the board meeting tomorrow, and if you want to know more about events for the shop, go to meetup.com/sinshop.
Web pen testing on next Saturday.
And web testing on
What?
web pen testing next week.
You got it.
Again, this is all on Meetup. So if you can't understand my English, go to go to Meetup. Anyway, okay, that's enough for me. Does anybody else have any other announcements?
No more announcements.
No,
no.
good.
None
Guys?
for me.
I'm good.
No? Okay, so our favorite, I think, part of the show, at least for you guys, not my favorite, but how's everybody's week?
You know what? I will say I don't usually have much to say, but this week has actually been good for me.
Really?
Yeah, like usually every week is like status quo, so it doesn't matter, it's whatever. But I felt like really productive this week, like more productive than I felt in a long time. Like, I feel like we always talk about 80% of projects take 10%. The last 10% take 90% of your time, right?
Yeah.
I said that quote wrong. But like the last little piece of it takes the longest amount of time.
That's called the 90-10 rule.
Yes. The configuring, the getting everything out working just right or whatever, like that's always the longest, most arduous part. So I felt like I've overcame that hump this week, and it feels really good to be like done with stuff. When you're like,
Was this still the elk stack or whatever you were working on? Was this still like the elk stack?
No,
and-
actually I finished that like a long time ago, and now so that's done. It's doing what I needed to do. It's just I'm fine tuning it to like report what I need to report, but like it's done, it's good, and like I can use it for me. Actually, it helped us find. This is not what we're getting into, but it helped me find like a stray bug that we never would have found otherwise. Because whatever, we can talk about it afterwards. But it helped me find like a weird stray bug that we never would have found otherwise. And it's like, oh shit, like because of the elk stack and the monitoring that, not even the monitoring, but because of the logs that I can track now from it, I was able to find stuff that I wouldn't have seen otherwise. And that's been the case with like a lot of the AWS stuff I've been working on and a lot of the other projects. Is like it's good to be like, okay, I'm fucking done with this stuff. And it feels good to like close it down, like close it and be done. It's good. I like it. And that's how I feel. Now I'm gonna get fucking drunk this weekend.
And now you have a reason to.
I mean, you don't need a reason to get fucking
I know,
drunk.
it's like you usually don't, but now I guess you have a reason to.
Yeah.
All right, so Sin, you're back from being out of the country.
Yep.
I'm not going to give out too much detail. And you can share what you want to share.
I can share some.
But how was your trip?
The trip was great. So I've been in Germany for the past couple weeks. This week I've been back and we finished a full pen test of a client site, and the site was pretty large for the idea. The overhead of it is that it's a security system, alarms, cameras, and databases that all work within each other, and there's local and remote sites that watch everything that's going on. And so my job was to pen test the entire system and try and find any kind of vulnerabilities that we could find in the system.
Now, was this a security company that, like, was it a physical security company or was it like a security in general? Like,
Kind of think of like ADT, but
Okay.
there's also
Okay.
cops that are there. Like there's
Oh,
right.
actual.
Okay, so it's like
It's
I don't want to say
both.
physical security, but I guess it's not. Like you weren't trying to just secure virtual systems. Like you're trying to secure.
Physical stuff,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, okay,
correct.
okay.
Yeah, there's actual physical facilities with actual products at these facilities that we had to pen test to see if we can get access to without authorization.
Okay.
Noise.
And just like you, I finished. Today's the last day of all the documentation. The pen test is great, feels great to be done, and had resounding success from my end. Bad for them.
Bad for them. Good
yeah.
for you.
Good for me as a red team. I got successfully hacked all the way from having user level access, not even actually having local access in the network, got access to the network, then escalated all the way up to God level rights on the system, and was able to completely control everything how the internals worked. It was really good actually, but.
That's when the missiles got launched.
Cheers to your success.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
So-
put that God level access. I like that. That's a good way of saying.
Yeah, system admin.
you know
but-
Yeah, I like your way much better.
When the
I like
red
your
team,
way
when the pen testers are like popping boxes and whatever, I'm wondering if they're like typing at their computer like I am God.
I would talk
lawnmower
so
man?
much as I got access. I would talk so much shit if I would.
If it was a Linux system, I'd say I had root, but it wasn't, so it
man,
was,
there you
it was
go.
Windows.
Fair.
You got to congratulate yourself.
Yeah.
So I actually had a small victory today, but it was a good one. So are you guys familiar with the concept of the 5 o'clock surprise?
Oh, I mean, I feel like
I
there are
feel like it's a
different
bad
terms
thing.
for it.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It
There's
is
different
okay.
terms for
Yeah.
it. Like I know what you're saying, but
It's
I don't usually call it that.
4:55. You're gonna get off at 5 o'clock, and your boss calls and is like, "Hey,
Guess-
before you go, yeah, the 5
Yeah.
o'clock surprise."
Yes.
So I automated my way out of a 5 o'clock surprise. Today.
I know what I did.
Wait, preemptively.
I
Like you,
leave
like,
at
like,
4:30.
No.
Like, were you expecting
I
it?
received it wouldn't be a surprise. It'd be
You're
the
right.
thing
You're
that's
right.
going to happen at 5 o'clock.
You're right.
I got
My
caught.
mistake.
Okay,
Oh, go ahead.
really quick. I got caught with a 5 o'clock surprise like once, and never again. Guess what my 5 o'clock surprise was?
What's that?
Lock up the office, which means I have to be the last one, right? So like everybody else has to leave first. So I'm like, oh hell no, never doing this shit again. You haven't seen me at 5 o'clock since. Anyway, go ahead.
Fair enough. So I thought you were going to say you like locked the door and left everybody inside.
No. That's for
right.
April 1st, but we'll get to that later.
Nice. So basically I got this thing. My boss wanted to know like all the cables that went to these certain switches, and since I do a lot of the database stuff, I'm the guy in the chair, right, from the Spider-Man movie. I'm the guy in the chair. But
Kingpin? No, Alistair Smythe. Sorry.
No. Spider-Man's friend at the high school in Homecoming.
Oh, you're the guy in the chair. Ned.
guy in the chair.
Ned. Sorry.
Ned. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
There's a lot of dudes in chairs in Spider-Man.
That's a
and
fair point.
As the world's biggest Spider-Man fan, fight me on it. We can get. Okay, sorry, Ned. You're talking about Ned. Go ahead.
Talking about Ned. So I got this thing to do, and I have a tool already that's made up that will you type in a switch name, and it's like here's everything attached to that switch, but it doesn't have the name of the cabinet that it goes to, and that was what he was after. So I was like, wait a minute, instead of coming in and doing this early on Monday, now it does it, and so now I basically updated the tool to do the work for me that I would have had to do otherwise. And I was like,
Oh shit.
There you go. Being
Turns like-
smart.
Nice.
Working smarter, not, as they say in Boston, harder.
harder.
Yeah.
Harder.
Sorry, I still wish I was in New England. But anyway.
Were you in New England recently?
The cruise, man.
I don't know your life, dude. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You do know my life.
That was rude. I
Yeah,
apologize.
yeah.
I apologize.
You don't want to be in.
I tell you these things. You're my emergency contact.
You're giving away.
No,
some-
he's really not my emergency.
yeah. Don't lie to people. Yeah, I am.
Yeah, you don't want to be in New England right now. It's starting to get cold.
Yes.
Chin,
I was right there.
Chin loves the cold.
I do love the cold.
That's
You
crazy.
sure? Didn't you want the temperature in here raised just a minute
That was
ago?
me. I walked in here shouting that it was too cold.
Yeah.
And I apologize.
I'll
for
agree
that.
though, it was
I'm
cold.
I
dying.
apologize for
I
that.
like
But
it. 80.
if it wasn't for all those fans, I would love to be in the server room and working in there.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, if it
No,
wasn't
thank
for all
you.
that sound.
What is your life about?
I like being cold.
All right, dude.
Look, the way I see it is, you can always put more clothes on if you're, cold, but you can only take off so much clothes if it's hot, and you're still fucking hot.
I used to feel that way until I came here. So like in the Midwest, that's the situation, right? Because because sweat doesn't work when it's humid, right? It just doesn't work.
Okay.
But here, since it evaporates, it actually cools you, and I'm like, 110.
Oh no. I don't sweat.
So,
I mean, I can't stop myself from sweating. I can't stop myself. I'm not that level yet, but do not like sweat at all. It's gross and it changes later. Don't like it at all.
Sorry, audience member, we can't hear you at the moment. But let's see. Does anybody else have anything
okay.
to say
Nope.
else on the hot and cold of the situation?
Nah.
Yeah.
All right. So today, I thought we'd kind of turn the episode a little bit on its head and kind of go through the articles here on zdnet.com/topic/security. And instead of doing a lightning round of that, we would do like an in-depth kind of analysis on some of these articles. Only because they're really good articles, I think we could talk about it. We have somebody who does pen testing. Maybe he has a little bit of an opinion.
I'm gonna give you so much shit if they're not actually really good articles.
Fair.
So much shit. Just
Why don't you just give it a chance? dude?
that's what I'm saying. I'm going to absolutely give you a chance. But if they're not, I'm relentless, and I've been drinking. So get ready.
You're in trouble.
All right, here we go. All right.
luck.
The first one was about automation. So
Oh.
now, I will say that I've already kind of predicted, and I was looking forward to this day. Kind of, I was already kind of thinking that this would one day happen. So let me give you guys the article. Again, this is from zdnet.com/topic/security. The first article is 2 botnets are fighting over control of thousands of unsecured Android devices. I have been waiting for legitimate bot wars for a long time. Now, I mean, I know it's not a full robot where, like, it's a completely autonomous system, but come on. 2 botnets are like, no, it's mine. No, it's mine. No, it's mine.
That's actually interesting because, I mean, from my, uneducated perspective, I would be curious about who initiated each botnet and what they're actually, what they're looking for, what they're trying to do with them.
Oh yeah.
Well, the ultimate idea, or like the baseline, I'm sure, is controlling the device, right?
But I feel like that's such not a weird device to hit, but a weird device to hit because I feel like IoT devices are much easier to get and take control of. Like you could do a lot more with them for less stress on your
maybe.
architecture. I would imagine. I don't know.
Maybe. But you also have advantages with owning with owning
Pwning Android devices?
Yeah, with pwning Android devices, right? So like
Yeah, for sure.
They're GPS, they're mobile, so you can track as it moves around the world. And you're talking about thousands of devices. Like
It's basically like with I think where you're going with this is with an IoT device, you've got a whole lot of kind of smart devices.
Yeah.
Whereas with several Android phones, you can have a less number but more processing power because each one has more.
Absolutely. And
Or
if they're hitting Android devices in third world countries, which we talked about before in the past, aren't updated often because upgrades cost money. Because if it breaks, they usually don't fix them. They don't like to upgrade their devices. From what I've read, this is all anecdotal. They don't like to upgrade them because upgrades potentially break devices that cost money, and people don't want to spend money in third world countries, obviously. So if it's over there, I could understand that. But I feel like they're getting less out of it than they would if they attacked a bunch of IoT devices like the major attack that happened last year.
Yeah.
But it's all anecdotal, and I have no hard facts to back any of this up. It's just me thinking.
So yes, I see what you're saying. But I was just thinking like maybe. Well, fuck. Now I forgot what the fuck I was saying.
That's what you get.
Anyway, what? Carry on. Sorry.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Do you ever pen test on mobile devices specifically?
I have pen tested on mobile devices, but not specifically. Most of mine is web services.
Okay. And you never own a device or pwn. So I'm gonna use pwn.
Yeah.
Right? You never pwn a device to get into where you're trying to get into.
All the time. We
okay.
pivot all the time. Like, see, in a recent example, we had to switch from one subnet to another subnet, and to pivot through there, you have to take control of whatever device has dual NICs to be able to swap into the next network to be able to get in there and see what's there. So yeah, all the time.
See, that's the thing. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like an Android device or any smartphone, right? Even though you're connected to Wi-Fi, you're always connected to the cell network, right? Oh no, you're not. I'm sorry. You take that back. I take that back because you have Wi-Fi calling now, right?
Yeah. You have to call it and Wi-Fi texting.
Not
Yeah,
to
that's
mention
true.
that, when your phone connects to a tower, it has to actually be registered within that network. So, for example, going to Germany, taking my phone, it will not actually just register right away. You have to set the settings in the phone and then reset the phone to allow it to be onto that network. Otherwise, it will not. It won't get any information. It doesn't.
When you say
recognize
reset,
it.
is it just like a reboot?
Yeah, just
not like
reboot of the
flashing
phone.
your- Okay.
Yeah. You just have to reset it so that it registers with that network, especially with the GCSE. What are the different towers?
GSM.
GSM. Thank you.
GSM. Yeah.
So you've got the different.
I know stuff.
Yeah, the different networks. And Europe, while we have their infrastructure here, we'd have more types of cell infrastructure. So if you're not on that network, you have to like get ready, and it can actually damage your phone as well. Like one of my coworkers, his phone had to be recalled because it broke some of the internals when it re-registered.
What is breaking that phone?
He actually doesn't know, and to be honest, none of us knew. It actually just has a warning. It will not register in the U.S. anymore. When he swapped his SIM card for the UK SIM card.
It's those fucking Chinese microchips hacking us.
Yeah, like he came back, he swapped
Why
back
do you have
into
to
his.
blame it on the okay, well, maybe I
mean,
mean,
This
might
one
have
we-
to-
I'll
I
be
feel like
honest
there's
with
good reason for that.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
that one especially.
That's
So,
not
like-
outside the realm of possibility.
Well, anybody from the audience could fact check us. Remember the community mic. If you want to fact check, we could go. You could go up there if you want. If you don't have any information, that's fine too.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
I
was
don't-
really
I-
weird. He was the one person out of the 14 of us that his phone, when he swapped back to his US.
But everybody else did it.
Yes.
Like everybody else switched to the.
Yeah.
Now
And he's Samsung as well, and I'm Samsung, so we have
I was
no
gonna say
idea
same
why.
phone model and everything.
Yep.
That's
Maybe
interesting.
he looked the least likely to investigate his phone. I have no idea. I don't fucking know.
Okay,
Yeah, it was
now-
weird.
It's all
We
speculation.
strayed a little bit from the article. So again, I thought that this day would come where bots are starting to fight with each other on who controls what. I thought
It's not as exciting as I thought it would be. I want to see.
I
wanna
wanted like machines.
Yeah, I want that Boston Dynamics robot that was doing parkour to fight another robot, and that's what I want to see. I honestly don't care about the hacking of bots against bots. I want to see the robots physically fighting each other. That's what I'll pay for.
We see how we already have that on TV where people they're
Do we?
they're remote
Oh,
control.
like
Satellites?
that's boring. Oh, that's boring.
No, I don't like that. That's what I want. But I don't like that.
I want to see a fucking 8-foot monster robot fight another 8-foot monster robot
They did
with
that,
claws
like,
and shit.
They did that last year, and it was
boring.
complete
It's
bull.
stupid. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not ready for that yet, but that's what I want. networks
awesome.
networks attacking other networks.
Yeah, okay, networks attacking other networks, though. It's like two big brains playing chess. It's kind of cool, no?
We can say that, but and again, I haven't read the article, so I'm a little bit ignorant. But I want to know exactly what they were attempting to do, or what started and all that stuff. So it'd be much more interesting to me to see what they were going for, like what the actual objective was, because that would determine whether it's interesting for me or not. Because if it's just like two rogue ass networks like doing dumb shit, I don't give a shit.
I mean, like we started seeing this not bot to bot or not botnet to botnet, bot to bot. I said bot to bot.
Bot to bot, you knew what you wanted.
No, botnet to botnet. We saw it wasn't Boston. Who was the team that won the DEF CON contest 2 years ago? The
Grand Challenge.
The Grand Challenge, yeah, the DARPANET, the DARPA Grand Challenge, the CTF at DEF CON. It was a bot that did the hacking. Like, it was automated. So, not to put you on the spot, but you might be out of the job in like a decade.
Here's the thing. Okay, we're gonna come back to your statement in a second about being out of job, but community.
We
mic
do have
first.
community mic.
So
It's actually been that's actually not really new in terms of bots, but like viruses for a long time, have actually been programmed so that if some guy has a virus and it actually goes out, it searches not only for antivirus, but it actually search out for other viruses. It'll say, hey, I want to pound this machine, so I want to clean up for you. Some even install patches. I mean, no joke. Like this shit will go out. It'll secure your machine, except for them, right?
Everything else.
The
Yeah.
1-0 day that they used to get in, everything else gets patched.
Pretty much, yeah. Seriously,
Nice.
and that's part of it. So I mean, but if you think about like Mirai and stuff, they were using that whole network. You have like 50. I forgot how big Mirai was, like 70,000.
Huge.
They're renting that shit out.
Yeah.
That's lucrative. So if you could save pound 50,000 Android devices and you can rent that shit out, I mean, it's like, hey, wait a minute. All of a sudden, your revenue stream went down,
And
right?
we're all buying Bitcoin for everybody, or mining Bitcoin for everybody.
That's a good reason to go fight back and forth for this, whole network. That's my speculation.
I wonder who you guys would consider to be the good guys in this situation.
I don't know the factions
two-
fighting against each other.
They're two bad guys fighting each other. So
Pretty much.
Is one more bad than the other? Sorry. just-
Yeah.
So I think one thing that's kind of related made me think about like what you find cool is bots fighting bots. But
Yeah.
recently, one of my favorite topics I'm kind of getting into is machine learning / AI actually creating fake personas online on social network sites.
AI sock puppets.
Yep. And this has gotten my interest lately. Like I'm actually diving into how to take someone else's image, say your image on Facebook, and completely make it not recognizable on.
I take my picture.
Yeah, and make it not recognizable in terms of being able to say, hey, let me search this image and who does this belong to? Where does it originate? When I combine your image and your image together, and then
You see that we make beautiful babies.
Yeah,
That's what I was gonna say.
So
What else do you do with
and then you actually change the metadata as well, so like
Yeah.
I can go in and go, okay, well this image is no longer at the geo coordinates you were located at; it's over at this location.
Like it's not the phone not the phone it came from, the aperture and all that stuff. Like it's like completely randomized.
Yep. Or it doesn't have to be randomized, but it could be randomized.
Randomizer blinked out so that it's
Yeah.
not trackable back to the device or location
So when
it's
it's
taken
blanked
from.
out, that actually sticks out worse than when I manipulate the data.
And actually, speaking of that, we talked about that a long time ago about browser fingerprinting. So if you futz the data as far as about browser, like the font you use,
You
the
change
browser
the font, you
use,
keep
whatever,
the window size a certain.
which is better as opposed to blanking out all your information, because like if you're the only browser that reports no information, you're trackable across everything, because like you're that one browser that was here and now you're here, and like we can't track where you go, but we know that this is you in every instance.
Kind of like a black hole.
Yeah, the same thing. Like
Yep.
like all of a sudden you're nowhere, you're doing this stuff, and all of a sudden you're nowhere for a while, then you're here again, and you're the only person doing these things in a browser that's untrackable. So that being untrackable makes you trackable, which is a weird fucking paradoxical statement.
Yeah.
It's fucking strange.
What do they call it? Statistics of absence, or like.
You say statistic a lot, and I don't know what you mean. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I'm gonna make an AI profile of Doxy. The first thing I'm gonna do is gonna be Doxy just magically likes cheese now. Like so,
Shut your
you have a
fucking mouth,
profile
first of all.
picture. It's gonna have all of his interests. He's gonna say shit like Childish Gambino, but at the bottom, his biggest hobby is just gonna be eating cheese.
I just
Eating
literally
cheese.
thought of the meme. I don't think that word means what you think it means.
Yeah.
I don't understand where you got me eating cheese from me saying I don't understand where your statistics quotes from. I don't understand what you're saying to me, Chen.
My bad.
That's fine. But no, that does.
I don't have to explain myself. Shut the fuck up. No.
No, that made me think about it like futzing or obscuring information is usually better than blanking out entirely, because blanking it makes you not a bigger target, but a more noticeable target.
Yeah. Well, even like IDSs and IPSs work the same way as well. Like,
Closer to the mic.
oh, okay.
Yeah, you bring that up to you.
Yeah, there we go. It's the same thing. Like, so recently, I was kind of showing what's the difference between pausing a service that's running on, like, say, SQL. You have MySQL running, and you have a stack that's relying on MySQL being ran to operate. So, like, say you have a web server, or like your web app says, okay, I'm using MySQL, and there's a connection string, and yada yada yada. Something happens in the web app that says, hey, I need to create a log in the MySQL database. But a lot of times, the try catch block, and like, hey, is that database up and running? If it's paused in a pause state or stop state, that's obviously noticeable that it's not up.
Yeah.
But if you manipulate the data, you change the data that's inside to be malicious, the app doesn't necessarily know that data is malicious. It's not what it's actually looking for. It's going to behave no different than it normally would.
Because it doesn't know it's malicious. It's going to do what it would normally do. It doesn't know that it's...
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
So same kind of concept, like similar to what when I was saying, like when you want to manipulate the data versus just deleting it, it's the same as you want to manipulate the data versus stopping a service completely. And if you want to not be detected, I mean, there's like the same kind of philosophy kind of goes, or methodology kind of carries on.
That makes a lot of sense.
I've seen a project on GitHub where instead of, as a hacker, instead of like deleting log files that show you that you were there, you just add garbage into the log files.
So the log files are...
The log files are just like, well, we can't tell because it's all
Actually, that's fucking great.
garbage data. Yeah, that's really cool.
That's actually fucking great.
Okay, so this next article is kind of interesting because 30 years ago, so this day, computer security turned real. The Morris worm turns 30 today.
I'm not familiar with the Morris worm.
It was Robert Tappan Morris, I believe, right? Yes, Robert Tappan Morris. He was the son of Robert
has
Morris,
great
who
names.
worked for the NSA.
Ah.
So he worked for the NSA, but it was his son who wrote the first computer worm 30 years ago, and he wanted to see. I know a little bit about this actually. This is an article we can dig into. But yeah, so from today, where we're talking about botnets fighting each other, 30 years ago, first computer worm. So this computer worm was actually not intended to be malicious, at least according to Cyberpunk, the book. Whether you wanted to call that accurate or not, that's up to you. So the first computer worm was only meant to measure how big the internet was, because back then it was still the ARPANET, and you're sharing with military computers, with universities, colleges, things like that. These were the people who had big servers and big computers. So RTM, or Robert Tappan Morris, Jr., by the way, wanted to just measure the internet, measure how big the internet was at that time 30 years ago. So he wrote this worm that would replicate itself over the network, and the math, he was wrong in the math, and that's why it spread so rapidly. So he would check the computer. Does the computer already have the worm? No? Okay, put it on there, and then move on. Well, again, something was wrong with his math, and it just started replicating out of control. Boom, takes down like 30 or 70% of the network at the time.
Which is like 2 computers at the time, right?
Well, at the time, maybe. Yeah, nowadays, we would be like, oh, okay,
that'd
whatever.
be a major thing.
Now,
but
remember, though, this is before redundancy. This is before, like load balancing. This is before all these concepts that we've created.
Yeah.
But also, this type of, I don't want to say innocent destruction. It did maybe cause some problems. But these types of scenarios are what make us build bigger, better, and more robust systems. Like, it's these types of attacks. It's these types of accidents or, attacks with malicious intent that make us think about load balancing, uptime, high availability.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, just real quick, from the article, the worm, when it was finished, it successfully attacked 6,000 of the internet's 60,000 servers.
Yeah, so there's think about that. There's 60,000 devices in that old network. There's like 60,000 devices in this goddamn room right now.
Yeah. And I feel like small, simple, not intended to be malicious things cause a lot of progress.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to be malicious, but fucking shit happens.
I can't. Yeah.
And like you fuck up on accident, that causes progress, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you're like, I just want to do this small, simple thing. I don't mean to break anything. You don't even think about breaking stuff because you're like, it's super simple. I'm just gonna do this one thing. And all of a sudden, you like, I've broken everything, now you fix that for the future.
That is a nightmare of mine. Like, that's something that I think about sometimes.
I mean, think about it. Like okay, so like on a much smaller scale in your job, you ship bad code, you put a comma in the wrong place.
I've done that before. It's a semicolon, actually.
That's what I'm saying, because I
Yeah,
was there that
yeah.
day. That's when we first started
Shut up.
together, remember? So
my first day, I took down the network. I think we might have coworkers watching, so never mind. Never mind.
So I mean, no, and that shit happens. So you fucking like inadvertently, you're like, I just want to do this one thing, the 4:00 surprise. You're like, I'm gonna do this one thing, and I'm gonna go home, and then everything's broken. You're like, what did I do?
What have I done?
You make that, you patch that for the future, like on a much smaller scale, and that's how we have the redundant, robust internet we have now. I like to believe so. Like a lot of small mistakes led up to what we have now. Like someone's like, hey man, I'm gonna patch this. Like Dave, it's 4:50 on a Friday. You want to do this, dude? It's one line. It's fine. It's not gonna break anything.
I don't do shit on Fridays that are dealing with deployments or any sort of major change. Fuck that. It's documentation. It's maintenance. It's, hey, is everything not on fire? Cool. Let me go.
We all learn that lesson independently because everyone's like, I've got one thing to change.
Yeah, and
then
even
you're
when we
like,
tell you, you really shouldn't do that on Friday, you're like, no, I got this.
like-
Hold my beer.
I can't, because I mean, I've said it myself. The number of times someone's been like, dude, it's a small change. I'm just putting this period over here. And you're like, awesome. Everything's broken. Everyone come to work. You're like, fuck. That happens more often than we would think. Because everyone thinks that, like, whatever. So small little fuck ups like this are why we have what we have today. The low balancing, the redundancy, all that stuff. And I mean, it's nice to think about, but it's also so much pain. In all of these configs have so much pain behind them. Yeah. The dude who built HA proxy and stuff like that, or all the redundant caches and stuff we have, everyone's like, I never want to go through that again. And I mean,
Exactly. Well, like today, like
praise the fuck ups.
Yeah, automating the 4:00 surprise away.
Hey,
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Anything I can do to not fuck up, to ruin my preemptive weekend Friday.
Amen.
Do anything to stop that from getting fucked up.
Yes.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Praise the little fuck ups before the big fuck ups.
Are any of us on call? Like, we don't do on-call schedules anymore.
I mean,
anybody here at this table, I mean.
I'm not like
not at this
like I'm not
position.
like specifically on call, but if stuff happens, I need to be
Yeah,
available.
it's like one of those things.
Yeah,
Right.
like it's not like a specific like I have an on call rotation,
Yeah, it's not like, yeah.
but because I'm the whatever I am, like I need to be available if something happens. So don't say anything. If you say it, it'll bring it to life, and then I'm gonna have to go to work, and
Okay, I won't say
I
anything.
will fucking.
All right, now this next article is actually very interesting because it kind of goes back to what we were saying, which means, damn, we didn't think of it first. But no, this has been an idea for a long time. Hackers are increasingly destroying logs to hide attacks.
How did no one think of this?
Well, I think, again, I haven't opened this
Why
up.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. No.
Well, so
Yeah, go ahead.
when they say destroying logs, I don't think they mean like deleting them or anything. I think they mean mangling the shit out of them.
futzing them, like you just said, right? Like putting in bad information and stuff like that.
Yep.
And it
And
seems
now-
like community Mike
Yeah,
has
yeah,
more
Community Mike has
information
more.
than we do.
So they've been doing that at least as long as I've been in security, which is since 2000 or so, which is why we would always build up centralized log servers and sanitize the data coming in. That's been a thing forever.
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
actually-
I think it's
like,
it just caught the user's attention now.
Yeah, like, oh, I just committed a crime. I should destroy evidence.
Well,
Like,
it could also be.
what?
It might be like the wording that they're using in the report is more about the trend that they're seeing, not that people have been doing it. Because just because people have been doing it for as long as I remember, that's to cover your trails, and even log poisoning using an LFI attack can get you access on a box. However, it might be that they're talking about the trend, that there's a lot of people that are actually thinking more broader scope than just saying, hey, I want to do this attack and I don't think I'm going to leave any kind of trail or anything, or I'm not going to do anything. That they're starting to learn more about how to do an attack as security itself is becoming more and more kind of prevalent and a big career field. It's growing. Maybe that might be what they're talking about.
I mean, totally, and I feel like that's kind of not weird, but I feel like it could be talking about an ass, but I feel like it usually goes the opposite. Whereas something becomes more widely accessible, like the security field, like a lot of people are jumping in the security field because it's lucrative and it's like a big thing, like it's in the news now and stuff. So the more that people jump into it to be a part of it, the less stuff like that happens. Like the less the little stuff is taken care of as more people join the field. So like the little things like covering your tracks, like mangling logs, or like whatever people would do as not beginners, but like as the veterans of the industry, the newcomers wouldn't do that because they're like, that's like a thing older guys do. Like it's not something I care about. I'm gonna do what I gotta do, then get in and get out or whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
But and that's me anecdotally. I don't know. I just feel like that's like as it becomes like a wider field for people to jump into, the whatever the term is for it, like the little things get overlooked.
Community Mike.
I'd have to say that I kind of agree with that. I find that while the skilled attackers are getting a lot more skilled, the bulk of the attackers are getting a lot less skilled.
Okay.
There's less of a barrier to entry.
Yeah.
Is it because everybody has a Kali install?
Yeah.
No, honestly, yeah.
Yeah, no, honestly, yeah,
You get a Metasploit install, you get Kali, and you're like, I'm a fucking hacker now.
Thank you, Community Mike.
And then as that happens, you do less of the little stuff. Like the little stuff makes up a lot of it that we don't think about.
And you're right. So how many of us here at the table, you don't count, only because I know you know this answer. How many here of us can do a ping sweep without running like Angry IP Scanner? Or can you write a ping sweep?
Yup.
You know how?
Yeah, dude. I have a lot of little knowledge in little places that don't amount to a lot of things.
Okay,
but
well that's
like,
good
like
because
it's-
you're. I would say that you're like above the average of people who run Kali.
I'm generalist as fuck.
All right, fair.
In what language?
Pick one because we could do it in Bash. We could do it in.
Well,
Ruby,
no,
we could do
it
it
was
in
just-
Cat.
I mean, because
Python.
because I'm a child of BGM, it's Python for me all the way.
No, I meant the question was more because you're like, can you do ping sweep? And I'm asking in what language.
Oh, well, okay. All right.
Now you're just showing off. Get the fuck
Yeah,
out of here.
yeah.
Get out.
I was
Get out.
joking. I was,
But that's an example of like, don't worry about it because the computer can do it for you. Okay, well, what if you
100%.
don't have your toolbox?
100%. As you have tools like Metasploit and stuff, you forget about the little stuff, like the little things that you need to do to make sure that you have like a complete job done. Like you're just like, oh, the computer will take care of this for me, this and the other. All I do is enter in a couple variables and it does the rest, and I'm just like kind of sitting back. They're script kiddies to the worst degree, right? And you complain about that from the moment the show was started.
All the fucking time.
You hate
All
look
the
at
fucking
he's
time.
clenching his fists. He hates script kiddies, and I mean it's an honest and true thing, and it's only getting worse as the security field becomes more in the news, especially with all of the fucking hacks going on like at nation states and stuff like that. It's only going to get worse, and things like this about the log futzing and little things not being taken care of are only going to get worse because the tools become more accessible. Yeah. People are going to download them and use them and play with them around and whatever, and then all of a sudden you have this influx of people who don't really know what they're doing, but they're doing enough to be part of that field, but not enough to be actually good in that field.
yeah.
Yeah, we've met several people that way, or of that caliber.
What's even scary, kind of to go along that, is like it's not just learning with Metasploit or like YouTube or blogs and things like that with Hack the Box, VulnHub, ExploitDB, and everything like that. But video games are actually teaching you some good core concepts.
Which, do you have any examples?
Hack.run. I got one. Hold on.
Hack.run. Is that a phone thing or is that like a browser?
Yeah,
based?
so HackRun is a phone app, and on
Say what?
Yeah, so
Put
you've
it-
got
put
like
it down.
HackRun, you've got Hackers. Hackers is a MMO style hack game where you actually everything is done via command line, and you're constantly hacking other hackers in the game.
What was the one that there was one on? It's on Steam. It's command line based.
Like a long time ago, right?
Hacker Revolution.
Yes. I don't know if that's what it was, but I know exactly what you're talking about because I'm
Yeah.
trying to remember it too.
It was like a $10 game on Steam.
Yeah.
And like you had command line stuff, and like it showed you a map of like where you were and
Yeah.
where you needed to get to, like a geographical map of like where your box was that you're trying to.
Yeah.
It was
Because
interesting.
and there's a lot of stuff like that now, and I mean, people. I feel like people don't they miss the importance of how little stuff like that actually. It's much more accessible than it used to be.
Yes.
Like even to just delve in and like do a little bit of something, it's much more accessible than it used to be. Like you have to do so much to even begin to hack something or to try to break into stuff, and now it's like really easily accessible from almost anywhere.
Yeah.
Because all of our hardware and stuff is so powerful.
So even in the video games, they talk about core concepts that should be practiced, like covering your trails. They actually have an entire tutorial on this is how you need to cover your trails and
Hack
go into
Run?
and
Yeah.
So hackers,
Hackers.
and
that
Hacker
one.
Revolution, yeah.
they actually have like 5 levels of this. When you hack this other person, go in their logs, make sure you delete them or fuzz them or make them look like change the IP so it looks like a different hacker hacked them.
That's high level shit right there.
I mean,
Yeah,
if you take it even to so even military intelligence is simulated in stuff like EVE Online, and so a lot of people are becoming like diverse in how to think of like patterns of life and things like that using content like EVE Online, where
Yeah.
two different corporations, because it's a complete sandbox game, they're learning how do people think, even though it's a video game. So they're learning how to do malicious like spy network. How do I become a spy in your corporation, and how do I make it look like I've been with you, and what do I like even to the point where character sheets are what corporations have you been a part of? You'll have corporations that'll be like, oh, why 6 years ago you were part of Reddit. So
with everything that you're saying right now, though, I can just imagine people who are trying to blend in. They're taking their cues from like Assassin's Creed. They're like, okay, I'm gonna blend in. You're like, you turn the other way, you duck your head, or whatever. And it's like, oh, now nobody can see me.
So without getting too down the rabbit hole of video games, the point I'm trying to really show is that the methodology of hiding yourself is becoming more and more accessible, just like the basics of hacking, just like script kiddies and everything like that. With video games, I mean, that core concept of how do I hide and make sure that people don't know that I did this.
And I feel like one of the things is like people might not even be looking for that. It's just the world we live in now, because computer security, and everything is so prevalent. It's hard to not see that stuff because computers are everything. Not everything. Computers will and do run a large majority of everything right now. So it's just a part of who you are. Because like even if you're not necessarily hacking, there are logs to your shifts you go when you go to work, whatever, and there might be other reasons for you manipulating logs or futzing them or whatever, like to cover, like maybe I'm throwing shit out of there on my ass. You didn't come to work that day. You want to futz a log to make like you came in. Boom. That's like
boom. 9 o'clock, bitches.
You don't like no. Honestly, like you don't think of it as hacking, but I mean it is, because like you're futzing the log to make it look like you did something you didn't do, and that translates into other things. And so like it's just like back in the day we used to use MySpace, and you were doing HTML and shit that you had no idea what you were doing. You're just making.
Oh my god. Yeah, but then
you're
you're right.
Honestly, you think about
right.
it. You're making your background look pretty, and then 10 years ago, oh fuck, I was coding and I had no idea.
And then all of a sudden you're now like updating your resume, webmaster.
Yeah, no,
I know CS.
yeah, and it's 100% that, and it's the same thing now, because everything runs on computers. The systems we use, like the POS systems at work, or like time clock systems or whatever. And like if you touch that, if you find some way to hack that, you're diving into the realm of hackers and stuff. And we don't think about it that way, because it's like no, this is my job. Like I'm just fucking over my job. It's not like I'm not working with computers, but it is.
So every kid now who's going through middle school or high school, who are like changing their grades right before they give their report card to their
parents, before they get their
now
ass
they're
beat,
hackers.
And I mean, on a much smaller scale.
I know.
Yeah, they are.
No, I know.
I don't even know about necessarily a smaller scale. I mean, especially if you look at the difficulty of the job to the person doing the job.
That's a great point. You're a freshman in high school. You're like, what the fuck is this? And you're like, I need that A. Gotta, fucking.
Or
It's
if
an A
you change
now.
it to into networking, here like what is ARP poisoning? What is DNS poisoning?
Yeah,
You're making yourself look like somebody that's already on the network.
all that stuff, and like you might,
And other
you-
network or other computers. Sorry, real quick.
Yeah.
Other computers, when you look like that, they behave differently.
Yes,
Change it back to what you're talking about at work. When you make the logs look different, people behave differently.
absolutely. And it's like all of that, and you don't think about it. The royal we don't think about it, but you're doing it without even thinking about it. And I feel like actually that goes a long ways towards interest in the field and like being better at it. When like you don't realize what you're doing, you're just doing it to either help yourself or get something else out of it, and then like, oh, that's actually kind of interesting. Like maybe enjoyed is not the right word, but I enjoy doing that, and you keep doing it, and that's how you really get into it. Because if you're forced to do it for whatever reason, someone would force you to hack into stuff, I have no idea. But if it's like a natural interest in it, you go much further than if you're like, I'm gonna make money out of this, or I'm gonna fucking get something out of this other than like my own natural curiosity and interest in this topic.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, honestly, I feel like that's how we all got into it. Like you're working on something, you're doing something, you're like, this is actually really fucking cool, and I'll keep doing this. Yeah. And then however many later years we're here.
What I kind of wish is you sometimes I wish I could, hindsight's 20/20, but I wish I
favorite
could
quote of
actually.
all time.
What's that?
That's my favorite quote of all time.
Because like now I look
But
back and I go,
what
like,
if you had 2015 vision?
I'm gonna punch you in the
I mean, hey, I'm just throwing it out there.
So, like-
sorry.
So you recently finished your Security Plus.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't tell you the story about like what happened right after the test, right?
Yeah, actually you did. You
Oh,
did.
fuck.
But we
All right.
won't go over that.
We won't
Don't
get into that.
disclose
We're
that
gonna-
information.
We won't get into that one.
But,
yeah, you can just listen to like 10 episodes back, and you'll see that I've totally earned that certificate. Anyway.
Oh yeah, that's when you thought you were funny.
Oh, wow, that was low. Shit. I'll just keep finishing my beer. Go ahead.
That was for me.
So-
that was for myself. Sorry,
Actually,
sorry.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people that get the Security Plus, and they're like, to them, it's I got the Security Plus so I can have that check mark, so I can get that job, or I can just be that. But they don't
Absolutely.
understand how it relates to the job, and they don't understand, like a very specific example. What are 2 layers that DDoSing happens at?
You're quizzing me. I'm
Yeah.
drunk. Don't look
Okay.
at
Anyone. What 2 layers
I'm
are
drunk,
the
don't look at me.
common? Let's see. Look, what's the main layer that DOSing somebody?
Network.
Which is
Oh, of the fucking.
Layer 3.
2. Yep,
What- yeah,
2 and
what-
3.
okay.
So what happens with the
I was
DDoS?
thinking-
I always
I was
forget
thinking protocol.
I always forget the
Yeah.
layers.
I was about to say ICMP. Well, I was thinking like, okay, ICMP because you could do like a ping flood or whatever. And I was
No.
like, but then you could flood through the web server, so that's 80 and 443. And I was like, then you can do. So
No,
I was thinking
I
protocols,
I-
not
I
layers.
always
So
forget
most
the
people think
layers.
that, and that's actually
Yeah.
the common. But what about a DDoS that happens during layer 7? User level access, user input, things like that. What can you think of one that exists there?
Gum in the USB drive.
Like-
I mean, you're not gonna have access to that
if,
USB drive.
I mean, maybe like.
Oh,
if-
that's
if-
right, that's physical,
If you,
my
if,
bad.
if you have like a user authentication,
He said
error,
user
like
access.
If it like a user authentication is.
What
like,
about a buffer overflow? They have a user authentication, like you're just saying,
Yeah.
password, right? What if they don't have a check? The web developer did not put a check on how many characters that they put in that password field, and you buffer overflow it, and it crashes the system, completely crashes the web app.
Yeah.
Now, you might not have been able to use that buffer overflow in your malicious payload. You just wanted to crash the system, creating a DDoS.
Yeah.
You crashed it, right? So, like, but a lot of people, like, to kind of go back to the Security Plus thing, is that they don't think about how those layers and what their attacks and what are they going to do and how they could utilize that
Yeah.
into what am I going to create and why do I want to create this and what is my end effect.
Yes.
But later on, and this is why I say hindsight's 2020, is I kind of look back and I wish I paid more attention when I went and got my Security Plus, because like while I got it many years ago, at the time I didn't really understand. Like, yeah, I got it and I kind of understood it, but I didn't understand it what I understand now, and I
feel
wish
like,
I did.
I feel like that's the problem with base level knowledge, because whenever you get base level knowledge, because usually when we get it, because we normally when we're younger, we're not formally trained in IT security or whatever else the field we're in, so we just kind of learn stuff as we go. And we don't pay enough attention to base level knowledge as we should. So we get it, we pass by it, then we start getting into more advanced concepts. So we have this high level knowledge of stuff, but then the base level stuff is kind of lost on us. So we're like, I understand the abstract concept of whatever I'm talking about, but I'm missing out on the fundamental principles of how I can apply this to certain things that I'm talking about.
Well, wasn't it like 2 episodes ago you were talking about overthinking things?
Oh yeah, that's me every day. I overthink the shit out of stuff. Like you over architecture things, you overthink it. You're like, I need to get from here to here, and then instead of like a straight line, you're like, I got to go here first, and then dart off into here. You got these certain branches. Instead of being like, oh, I could just fucking go here to here, and you don't think of that until hindsight.
I think Doxy thinks he's on the Minority Report.
I do have those fucking gloves.
He's like throwing shit. I almost had a duck.
It would be an awesome
I don't know
interface.
why I'm talking so much
I
about
know.
my
I was
hands.
like, oh, fuck.
My hands are all over the place. I don't know what I do with them. I don't put them in my
Ninja
pocket.
style.
Sorry. I apologize.
So, okay.
So are we?
I mean, we can move on to the next article, but if you have anything to say.
Well, actually, I wanted to go back to a previous article. I've been doing a little bit of Googling about the Morris Internet Worm. And so the guy's name, Robert Tappan Morris, apparently he was extremely helpful to everybody. And so whenever someone had a problem, they started eventually calling him Robert Tappan Friendly Morris.
I'm going to jump over this table.
Really? So they
No.
told him he was
He's making that up.
RTFM?
He is making that up.
I'm totally making it up. Of course
I was
I
gonna
am.
say I never heard that in the
Of course
story.
I am.
I never heard that in the story. Oh,
I hate
man.
everyone on this side of the table so much.
Ooh,
So
I
much.
almost bought your fake news.
Oh, man.
Damn.
As soon as you said the helpful thing, I knew exactly where you were going with it. I knew exactly where you were
Hey,
going.
he said he's here to be
Because
friendly.
honestly, when he said RTM, I was like, oh, that's suspiciously close to RTFM. And I was like, don't you fucking do it. Don't you fucking do it.
I actually had typed it in the
but-
live stream and I went back and deleted it. I was like, wait, that's pretty good.
Wait. But real fact here is his dad worked for the NSA, and I believe he did too later. I think
I mean, with skill set
that'll
like
have
that,
to
of
fact
course you
check.
have
But I
to.
think
Yeah.
he did.
Felony.
Not with the fellow. Well, back in the there was a Wild
I
West.
could
Back,
be
there was a
wrong.
Wild West back in the day.
I could be wrong.
Wild
maybe
West
I'm
back
wrong.
in the day.
But I thought they both worked for
we
the
will check it out.
We'll check it later. We'll put it in the comments below that nobody reads. Okay, so actually speaking about comments and stuff, remember, if you're not on the Discord, you should be on the Discord, because we do have the live stream channel where if you are not brave enough to go up to the community mic, you can still leave your comments and concerns and be part of the conversation here on Discord. So go to Synshop. Oh, no, wrong link. Go to Greynoise, GREYNOI.SE/Discord. If you don't have it already, get into that network, hang out with us. Now, we don't just chat on Fridays alone. Everybody is there all week. Some of us more than others. So, yes, there you go, sir. But hang out there, chat with us, ask us questions, and we could answer them on the show. So please do that. Okay. Are we ready for the next article?
Are we ready for the lightning round? Are we going to do this at the end of the show?
No.
Yeah, what is the end? Yeah.
Oh,
You-
no, the
you've
end of the show
ruined
is
it for
just
me.
us saying goodbye.
Absolutely not, sir.
Okay, I'll think of something that we could do quickly at the end of the show. Okay.
All right, next.
Now, the next one. Now, while we were going on the whole tirade about script kiddies and everything, I did look for this book on Amazon, which, Audible, which they don't have it on Audible yet, so I'll have to find it some other
Is
way.
Audible the only audio book service
That I use?
that exists?
No, there's some others. There's the one that summarizes books in like 15 minutes.
No, but like a service that like reads books to you, like Audible does. Is that the only one? I don't know. I don't
think so.
I read
Audiobooks is
my
a
books
thing.
like a.
I know audiobooks came before,
Yeah, I'm sure Amazon.
but you had them on CD and like track, like tape.
Oh, actually, you know what? A friend of mine has a whole. We're not getting into it. It's fine. Yeah, no, I believe you. It's fine.
But back in the day, they had horrible readovers. Like when you finish an Audible book on Audible, it's all like, "This is Audible." Now imagine that the whole fucking time you're listening to the book.
Why?
why would you do?
Why wouldn't it just be at the end?
Well, no, that's how a lot of those old audiobooks were recorded.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like Reddit. Okay.
yeah, it was on tape.
Like a
And it was on
watermark?
tape and CD. Like I had The Art of War on a 4-piece CD, like a 4 CD set. I had The Art of War. I had like Brian Tracy's Goals because I was totally motivated back in the day.
I had a bunch of those things. I had a bunch of those like motivation and like sales training techniques and stuff like that on cassette.
ABC always be closing.
Do we all have the same tapes?
Can you
Ask
get
them
to
a
the
question,
next article?
give them a benefit, and then close.
Holy crap! You're
All right.
Coffees
there.
for closers. Read the next article.
okay.
And we move forward.
No, okay. Anyway, so the book is called "Click Here to Kill Everybody."
What?
Yeah, that's why I looked for that book on
Is this
Audible.
book
'Cause I
about?
wanted to,
Is this book about clickbait?
no, it's about the Internet
I
of
hate
Things.
clickbait.
That's what I thought it was about. And I was like, this is very interesting.
No, it's a book review regarding Internet of Things. It says meeting the IoT security challenge.
Which means there's nothing. This book sounds like nothing because there is no IoT security.
At all?
Remember the botnet from last year?
Okay, just because somebody gets hacked in a major way doesn't mean that there's no security. Well, okay, never mind.
What what
I take that back.
What developments have we heard about in IoT security? Have you heard about? I haven't heard about any, but also I don't look for IoT security specifically.
There's that one where people change their password.
Oh, that was in a movie.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It hasn't happened yet.
Doesn't happen.
Oh, I think I was gonna say this is a circular way to diss me. Like I was like, wait. Okay,
Yeah,
so
it is a major topic Amazon's actually looking into. But
Security of IoT devices.
yeah,
I feel. Wait. Okay, so they have Alexa. I don't have an Alexa, so I don't know how the security, like the out of the box security, is on the Alexa. I'm sure it's.
but you have a Google Mini, right?
I got rid of that.
It didn't accept your proposals, right?
Shut your.
Well, you said you were dating
Yeah.
the damn thing.
Who said I was dating it?
I thought
said that.
you said you were going to go home so I could talk to my Google Mini.
I think that may happen.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about movies and music and stuff, not like proposals.
I mean,
I'll
I'm not
pull the-
judging.
I'll pull the records. I think you said something sexual.
anyways, now I lost my train of thought. Thank
Yeah,
you.
there you
That'll
go.
happen.
That's called a mental buffer overflow.
It is hot in here, Satchel. Thank you. No, IoT security doesn't exist because it's too expensive. Like we talked about a long time ago. I believe we talked about that with muffins a few.
Okay,
months
I would
ago.
say the first generation maybe doesn't exist, but that's because like passwords and things like that were hard coded.
they
like
were
you-
hard coded.
You know, there are things you couldn't change
because
So-
it's the path of least resistance. For
yeah,
those
but you don't think people
devices.
are going to eventually learn their lessons as they make smart refrigerators?
Do you
and
think people
smart
are getting
dishwashers?
smarty about smarty?
Smarty.
Okay, smarty.
Do you think people are getting smarter about their IoT usage?
Dude, I'm the one drinking. You're the one sobering up.
Here's the thing: you didn't see where I came from. That's
Okay,
not
okay.
important. though.
Let's not get there.
Do you think people are getting smarter about their IoT usage?
No, I'm thinking the developers might be getting smarter though.
Okay, developers
Maybe.
developers are already smart, but it's the companies that employ the developers.
Yeah,
and
but-
that's a cost benefit analysis thing.
But it's not the companies that told the developers to hard code a password.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's
I
not
don't
an
even-
issue of being smart or not. It's an issue of what are they making it for, and what they're making it for is to sell as many as they can for as cheap as they can.
It's like I don't even work there. And I can tell you right now, they're like, hey, CTO, we should make like a password algorithm to make passwords, unique passwords for every user. They're like, how much is that going to cost? Nah. They're like, why don't we just put password 1, 2, 3 in all of them and then let the users change them? They're like, no one's going to change them. Good enough. Ship it.
Yep,
And that's exactly what happened.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, you win this one.
And I don't work for these companies, but I would bet.
No, you're
whole
right.
bunch of sushi,
You're,
that's what
you're
happened.
right. Okay, fine. I concede. Shut up.
And I don't think it changed because again, like we talk about with all the companies that get fined for doing dumbass practices with like user security information and stuff, until the fines outweigh what they're doing, until the fines outweigh the cost of the profit they receive from doing these dumbass things, they're not going to change, and it hasn't yet. Because what was the fallout from the botnet last year? Nothing.
Sweet buttered nothing.
Nothing.
Yep.
And they have no incentive to change or get better because it doesn't affect their bottom line.
Right.
And they're making buku bucks for selling these dumbass insecure devices, hand over fist. Sorry, that's a rant, and I'm done.
No, absolutely.
And we have a community mic coming up in a second.
Okay, we'll give him a couple of seconds to get up here.
You got a couple
in the meantime,
seconds.
remember, we are brought to you by nothing. So if you want to be a sponsor, come at me. Anyway, go
They
ahead.
actually make more money because they sell vendor services and secure them afterwards.
Oh, that's a good point too.
Ooh.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a really
so-
good point.
Or they get rid of your home button and your headphone jack and then sell it back to you.
You joke about that, but Apple.
I know.
Apple has made more money on accessories than they have on phones in the last I don't know how many years now.
I can't roll
Completely
my
nuts.
eyes hard
So-
enough. I think I can see my own asshole.
What?
That's actually why
I'm
I
like-
was saying Amazon is looking
Not at
down
you. I'm
there.
talking about the Apple.
Wait, sorry, what?
That's actually why I was saying Amazon's actually they have teams now that are looking for all IoT devices on AWS and how they interact and what could that mean because they sell that as a service.
Security for IoT devices.
Yeah.
Man, Amazon is crushing it.
Yeah.
On the web services space. Honestly, I don't even like Amazon that much, but they are fucking crushing it.
I see Bezos in the background just rubbing his hands and like maybe even rubbing his bald head now. He's like, oh my god,
Remember that
I just have
picture?
so much fucking money.
I don't remember the picture of Bezos from 20
Yeah,
years ago.
Like
and
where his,
then-
hair, his hair,
and,
and
yeah.
he's got like this CRT monitor, and it says Amazon back here, and he's just plugging away. And you're like, man, that guy's a hard worker. And then now he kind of looks a little bit like Lex Luthor.
He's like, what are these dumbasses doing today that I can make money off of?
I know.
He is fucking crushing
You were a
it.
bookstore, Amazon. What the fuck?
They are the internet now. Honestly,
Yeah,
Amazon.
it's not wrong.
When you buy something, you're like, oh fuck, I'll just look for it on Amazon, all the time, no question. You're like, oh, where can I get this? Amazon. Whatever you're looking for, some weird ass obscure game, some fucking Jinko jeans, everything. Amazon has it.
I got this from somewhere else. But
To kind of bring back some Matrix like this is I don't know like conspiracy or whatever.
I love
but
it. I love
All right,
conspiracy
where's my
theories.
So-
tinfoil hat? It's in the
Oracle.
other room.
You guys are always talking about like right now you're like Amazon, and a lot of consumers also talk Microsoft. Where does Oracle in terms of the like from if you don't think about a business business perspective, where from a consumer level do you think Oracle places as a tech?
Very, very high. Because I feel like Oracle, even though we don't realize it, touches almost every consumer, almost every consumer related thing.
So the back end of Amazon is
Oracle.
Oracle still owns Java, right?
No,
Well,
for Alexa, yeah. Oracle's latest conference recently is talking about how machine learning is going to be implemented more and more with Oracle because of Alexa. That was
Oh,
like 2
shit.
weeks ago.
No, and I don't think about it off the top of my head, but now that you've said it, Oracle does touch almost every consumer-facing application and stuff. Like that's a huge thing.
Yep.
It's a good point.
Okay, let's make this one the last article. Cool?
No. Go ahead.
Okay. So you're saying I can go on even though you said no.
You do you, boo boo.
All right, I'm going to do it anyway because, yeah. All right. So the next article. Do you use Office 365? Microsoft's about to start emailing you regular tips by default.
just the tip, and only
You
for
know
a
what?
second.
This is like we're back in 1997
Yes.
with fucking Clippy.
Yes.
If I'm see, this is why I mark everything as spam because I hate all these goddamn emails because they won't honor my unsubscribe link, so they keep sending me emails, so I spam everything because it's annoying.
we went
Couldn't you
to-
automatically forward it like to support?
Like that's not
they
bad,
send they
actually.
send you tips. You make a rule to automatically forward it to support at Microsoft.
That's a fucking good idea, dude.
That's not bad.
I'm gonna
bad
get in trouble.
I'm gonna do that to these. So we went to like an industry thing, like, hey, we want to sell you parts, so come to our Cinco de Mayo thing, and we go to one of those, and I'm sure it was one of my coworkers that put my email address in there, and fuck him for it.
What's your email?
I'll
find out later.
Yeah. No, you won't. So
Even better.
Challenge accepted.
it's pretty easy. But so I get sent stuff all the time, and every single time I mark them as spam, but they never.
It doesn't do
keep
anything.
They keep getting through.
It's annoying.
Uh-oh, here we go.
It's annoying to say the least.
We're gonna find out why.
We're gonna find out why our
Community
spam
might
techniques
educate
are
me.
wrong.
I'm gonna just tell you a great tip on how to deal with all this stuff.
Here it comes.
Anytime I get mails from any of these people, like any coupons, any of this garbage, I just create a filter in Gmail to automatically delete it. If I actually happen to go need it, it'll still be in my delete box for 30 days.
Those are retroactive, right? So like you make a rule for the latest email that just came in, and you could retroactively.
If you mark
Yeah.
it to retroactively.
Even
Yeah,
like all
yeah.
my coupons, like I eat at Sweet Tomatoes a lot. Sweet Tomatoes mails me a lot of coupons.
Ah.
They just automatically get deleted. But when I go to Sweet Tomatoes, I go search for Sweet Tomatoes in trash, and the latest coupon shows
You
up.
know what? This is kind of irrelevant to our topic, but it's about sweet tomatoes. And as much as I love soup, probably more than any person my age does, I am 70 in stomach, and I love soup. But I
I'm
hate,
70 in stomach.
in
That's
stomach.
wild.
You heard what I said, and I hate sweet tomatoes.
And he hates sandwiches too.
Shut your mouth. Sweet tomatoes is the fucking worst. But
What is
that's not even.
I'll go along with you on sweet tomatoes, but what's your opinion on bread bowls?
Ooh, good question.
Well, I don't eat bread, so I don't want them.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
I want soup.
Even broccoli and cheese.
I don't eat cheese or broccoli.
Oh, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. All right.
That's like the worst of the worst of the worst.
Fair point. Fair
I
point.
don't want any of
What
That
that.
is
about
actually
a
my favorite.
German sausage salad?
I like sausage. I don't know what I don't know you're asking me. I've never had a
Don't
German
eat
salad.
So just Google it sometime. It is.
No,
Oh,
don't
no.
do it.
Is
No,
it-
no, it's
No,
not.
it-
It's not sexual. It's not some
Are you
mean.
taking me to Blue
No.
Waffle or
No,
something,
no.
man?
If it's
no,
German
no.
and sausage, there's
No.
probably
So-
something you recognize from the animal in
So-
it. Don't.
So my best friend, he's on our team. We went to I just got back from Germany.
Right.
He ordered a sausage salad over there, thinking, what do you think a sausage salad would be?
A salad with sausage in it.
Yes. Yeah, it was not at all.
It was sausage.
literally sausage made like noodles from spaghetti and pickles mixed into it. And-
Pickles?
Yeah, and it looked like this disgusting spaghetti sausage thing, and they called it a sausage salad. And it
On
was
behalf
so-
of my
oh.
people, I'm sorry.
So wait, it was sausages made into noodles.
Yeah, they strung them out into little tiny noodles, and it was all like wrapped up like literally like spaghetti, but it was instead of spaghetti, it's
But they were
sausage.
cooked.
I don't see the
No,
downside.
it
No.
was
Wait,
not
it was cold sausages.
Oh, I'm out.
Okay, yeah.
and
I thought it were gonna be
pickles
hot and, like,
mixed
you know,
into
links.
he was-
Pickles? What the fuck?
yeah, so he got it and he was like,
Take it back.
no,
Yeah.
no,
Put it back
no.
in the kitchen.
This isn't happening.
It was
Definitely not something I want.
Yeah, no, thank you. No, I used to live in Kansas City, and I saw a German deli. I was like, oh, I've never had German food before, like authentically German food. This will be fun.
Oh.
And I go in and I see blood tongue sausage. And I see the sign first. I'm like, what the fuck is blood tongue sausage? And there's a block of meat with a GD tongue in it from a cow. And it's like cut, and you can see the profile of the freaking tongue. I'm like, no.
I mean, I had beef tongue before.
Beef tongue is gross. We're not talking about food. This is
Sorry.
not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, yeah, we've gone off topic. So, as you can tell, this is the episode where we've run out of time, but never out of shit to say, right? See?
absolutely.
Look at that segue. All right, so we did it a little backwards today. So the entire episode was a really, 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 really long lightning round. So
I'm mad at you about that because I was going to talk about phones today and I couldn't. And now I'm disappointed.
Oh, man.
Remember that when you go to sleep tonight that you didn't let me talk about what I want to talk about. But that's fine.
Put it
He
in
did.
Discord.
Yeah,
Therefore,
put it
for
in
next
Discord.
week, because I got one too.
Okay,
and next
dope.
week.
All right, cool.
There we go.
I already have nightmares of getting murdered in my sleep. I didn't know it would be by Doxy. All right, so anyway,
You always knew.
I knew. We've run out of time, but never out of shit to say. So join us again next week, like every Friday night. We are here, 7:30 p.m. at the Sin Shop. Go to sinshop.org for information on the hackerspace, and that hackerspace is at 1075 American Pacific Drive, Suite C in Henderson, Nevada. Even though we are the Las Vegas Valley hackerspace, I always give that address because sometimes people use their maps, they use their Waze. Crux can't find us because he's not here right now.
They spell Sin Shop wrong.
Well, who did?
People.
SYNSHOP.
If you don't know what a Synac packet is, you wouldn't know what Sin Shop is. Think about it, right?
That's a true statement. Yeah.
Okay, yes. Doxy's correct. Finally.
As always.
Anyway, for information on us, go to Greynoise, GREYNOI.SE. For fuck's sake, my name is Master Chen.
This is Doxy.
Is it sin?
And I'm Richard Satchel.
Good night, everybody.